Let me start my discussion with this story. When Super Typhoon Yolanda hit Tacloban on November 8, 2013, Maricel and Gracias sought shelter in a civic center, thinking should be safe. But as the storm's winds lifted the sea, a massive wave surged into the building, killing many evacuees. Maricel barely escaped with her twin daughters, climbing the wall of the center. She hadn't known about the storm surge. Despite maps showing Tacloban's vulnerability to such floods, the danger wasn't clearly communicated.
Talagang hindi namin in-expect yung yung tubig. Akala kasi namin hangin lang, na normal lang na hangin. Nandito lang kami, hindi kami nag-evacuate. Kasi nakasanayan na kasi namin na pag may bagyo dito lang kami. Almost 20 years na ako dito. May gitna, daming bagyo dumaan pero hindi kami nag-evacuate.
Many survivors, like Maricel, were caught off guard. Maricel's experience during Typhoon Yolanda underscores a crucial point. Despite having access to hazard maps and warnings, many communities were unprepared for the storm surge that devastated Tacloban. This gap in awareness signifies why environmental stories matter. In this report, I want to talk about why telling environmental stories are important. Over the last decade, the Philippines has ranked high among the most vulnerable countries to climate change. Given the Philippines' position along the typhoon belt, we are prone to extreme weather events. But more than our vulnerability, it's our capacity to adapt that will dictate our future. One of the sources that produce environmental stories here in the Philippines is a book by the Climate Change Commission of the Philippines entitled Stories of Resilience, a compendium of local climate action in the Philippines. It shares real stories from different communities and local governments in the country that have worked hard to adapt to climate change. The book focuses on how these communities have created solutions to deal with problems like strong typhoons, floods, droughts, and other natural disasters. The goal of the book is to inspire more people to take action and find solutions to climate problems in their own communities. It also aims to raise awareness about the importance of local efforts in building resilience and protecting the future. Now, why are environmental stories like those presented in the compendium matters? Number one is for awareness. Environmental stories help people understand the important issues like climate change, pollution, and the laws of nature. They teach us why we need to protect the environment and how it affects our lives. Environmental stories help the public understand these risks and the importance of disaster preparedness and climate action. Looking back, Tacloban faced massive destruction with thousands of lives lost due to the storm surge. Many, like Maricel and Gracias, sought safety in places like the Civic Center, only for those areas to become death traps. This tragedy revealed big problems like people not knowing what a storm surge was. Yes, warnings were issued, but they were not effectively disseminated or acted upon, so people stayed in vulnerable areas, unaware of the danger.
Nakakuan, mga patay na tao. Parang gusto kong sumigaw noon eh. Parang lungkot na lungkot ako nga.
Without proper preparation and information, the city suffered greatly. On the other hand, Camotes Islands had zero casualties during the same typhoon. This was due to the purok system they built, where local leaders made sure everyone was informed and prepared. Residents knew about the risks and how to evacuate safely. The system's focus on early warnings and teamwork was key to their survival. These stories remind us that solutions exist and they should be shared and spread. If only people in Tacloban were given the proper awareness and knowledge about the dangers of disasters, none of those tragic deaths would have happened, or the casualties could have been lessened. But again, we can never undo what's done. We can only learn from their stories. While Tacloban's experience is a painful reminder of what happens when awareness and preparedness are missing, Camotes Island proves that local solutions and active communities can make all the difference. Number two is action and policy influence. These stories serve as powerful tools for inspiring action and influencing policies by sharing real examples of local communities successfully addressing climate challenges. The compendium motivates others to adapt similar strategies. Okay, for instance, learning about how Camotes Islands used the Purok system to achieve zero casualties during Typhoon Yolanda can also inspire other communities to develop their own disaster preparedness systems. These stories show that practical solutions already exist and are making a difference. They encourage individuals to change their habits, like reducing waste or conserving resources. And they also push decision makers to enact policies that protect the environment. When people see that these initiatives are working in other places, they feel empowered to demand stronger environmental laws and support community led actions. Number three is global connection. Sharing our stories connects the Philippines to the world. It shows how we are all in this fight together, facing similar challenges and working to protect the planet for future generations. Another source of environmental stories aside from the compendium is the Ang Ating Kwentong Klima. It is a multimedia storytelling initiative by the Asia Society Philippines that highlights real-life stories about climate change and its effects on Filipinos. Its purpose is to bring attention to the urgent need for climate action by sharing personal and community level narratives that resonate with the audiences.
It's really a matter of survival for all of us. Nararamdaman na natin ngayon ang epekto ng dahan-dahang nagbabagong klima. It is on our watch that we saw all these changes happening.
Nakita natin yung pagtaas ng temperatura sa buong Pilipinas. During the last 5 years, nakararanas na tayo ng mga extreme events, especially in terms of extreme rain.
By focusing on how climate change impacts people, especially those in vulnerable areas like islands and coastal communities, the initiative aims to inspire empathy on understanding and a sense of shared responsibility. Ang Ating Kwentong Klima as a source of environmental stories make climate issues more relatable and personal. So instead of just presenting facts and data, these stories focus on people's lived experiences, helping audiences understand the real-world impacts of climate change. Environmental stories serve as lessons and blueprints, proving that solutions exist. They deserve to be shared widely to inspire other communities to act, innovate, and adapt to the realities of climate change. By sharing our experiences, we not only empower local action, but also connect with a global effort to protect our planet for future generations. Let us support initiatives like the Compendium of Local Climate Action, which document and amplify these vital stories. Together, we can learn, adapt, and ensure a more resilient future. This is Sherry Jane Lodonia. Thank you so much for listening.
change.
End of the 21st century, we're expecting a maximum of 4 degrees centigrade.
Habang umiinit yung atmosphere natin, iinit din yung karagatan. Pag uminit yung karagatan, mag-e-expand siya, tataas ang level ng tubig.